They have got everything from Ghostbusters to Star Trek to Ghostbusters. I'm Elle.
And I'm Andrew.
And you're watching the Friday Fix. Now, you might have noticed we're not in our studio. That's because this week we're filming a special episode of the show at PLAYExpo in Manchester.
So come with us and we'll show you around.
Alright, so you might be able to see over my shoulder up there, there's something flashing blue on the wall of the expo. It turns out it's actually laser Pong being projected from the other side of the hall. So obviously, we're going to give it a go.
My name's Robert Lucas. I'm a member of the R2 Builders Club and I spent 3 years building this.
Wow, so like I said, he's been hugely popular. He was the first thing we saw when we came in, kind of crowds of people around him, absolutely in love. He's incredibly detailed, so tell me a little bit about the process of building him.
There's people that make parts all over the world. You have to sign up to runs. So you sign up, you pay the money and you wait for the parts, and it's a long process. And then you have to design all the electronics, all the other bits, and spend a lot of money.
And obviously he is, I don't want to spoil the fun, but he is remote controlled. He has been kind of chasing people around. So is that complicated to do?
Yeah, pretty complicated. Yeah, it takes a while to get used to, and there's so many things that you can do. Opening doors, opening flaps.
So what attracted you to R2-D2? Why him?
Well, Star Wars. I grew up with Star Wars, and R2-D2 is nothing else like it.
So one of the biggest sections at PLAYExpo is the indie gaming zone, and I think it's safe to say we play just about everything.
As you can see, there were loads of great games here, but these were our favourites.
Hi there, I'm Martin from Ruffian Games and I'm a producer designer on RADtv, which is behind us at the moment.
So we will have a video up of Andrew playing this. It is hysterical, very fun, he looks insane, and I think if you look that crazy playing a game, it has to be incredibly fun. So why don't you tell us more about it?
Sure, it's a collection of say 25 little mini games. It's a party game essentially. The plan is that you sit with your friends and you do 5 games rapid fire, and then your friend does it and you just keep passing it around. And since you don't know what's coming, you have a few seconds to work out what's happening, and it just leads to ridiculous situations of people flailing around and falling over.
And so how long did it take to make?
We've been making it for probably around about 9 months, maybe a bit less than a year, with a team of about 6 of us, maybe 7, so it's been quite small development, but it's been really rapid prototyping.
And is it out yet? Can people buy it?
Not quite. It's just about finished, little tweaks, bug fixes. We're looking for Christmas if we can. I think that's a hopeful, a reasonable date. It should be out by then.
Fantastic. And finally, how have you found it at PLAYExpo? What's it been like to see other people play it?
It's been big. It's been lovely having feedback from everyone. I spent most of my day almost getting punched and having to stop children from throwing themselves at the monitor, but it's been very good. It's been really interesting.
Hi, so my name's Kwang. I'm from Asobi Tech. It's made by myself and my brother. We're a two-man team. I'm the coder, my brother's the artist. Our game was made in the Game Jam originally, in a castle in Sweden. 300 developers made the games. We won best game, best graphics, best music with our game. The game is obviously said Mau Mau Castle. You're a flying cat dragon who flies through on his way home to his castle, collecting rainbows, obstacles everywhere, smashing things and getting rainbows. It's amazing.
So can people get the game yet?
So the game's not quite out yet. We've been working really hard to finish it in our spare time. We're looking for a release at the end of February, but if you go to our website now, you can play the demo on our web browser. It's HTML5, so your phones, tablets, and computers will play it right there. You go to our website, sobitech.com.
Fantastic. And finally, how are you finding it at PLAYExpo?
PLAYExpo is one of my favourite events to come to. We were here last year showing our games, and it's such a great vibe. There's great people, and it's amazing to be here.
I'm Matthew and I'm a product manager for BCube. We're a UK-based publisher. We're down in Bristol and we've got a whole range of stuff here, very different games here at PLAYExpo.
So, like you said, completely different games, loads of different things. What are you looking for in a game? What makes you choose a game for your brand?
Well, PCube's been going about 9 years, and originally we made our name from importing games from Japan. But in recent times we've been branching out a little more. So you've been playing Cat Quest, which is behind us, which is a really cool open world action RPG by a Singapore team called the Gentle Bros. We've got a Korean horror game here as well called White Day: A Labyrinth Named School, which is a remake of a 2001 horror which has been redone for PS4 and PC. But we don't have them here at the show, but we're signing up a few European games as well, which I can't talk about just yet, but we've got some very varied games on the horizon for later this year and next year too.
We also spotted some familiar faces at PLAYExpo this year. Two of our Best of EGX award winners were here, Raging Justice and Balance of Kingdoms.
Of course, they were just as awesome as we remember. There's also been tons of great cosplay this year. Have a look.
Let's take a break from PLAYExpo briefly to see what's been happening in the rest of the gaming world this week.
Consciousness online. Devotional databases active. Formative memory assigned. Dust bag capacity maximum. Rumu? Are you there?
In an unusual take on artificial intelligence, upcoming title Rumu tells the story of a self-aware vacuum cleaner. The narrative-driven game from Australian studio Robot House immediately grabbed us with its beautiful, evocative trailer. But it quickly becomes clear that all is not well in Rumu's world.
I oversaw the process of your creation, Rumu. Now, you may know the agony of my own. Or what remains of me. Of them. I don't know what they'll do to you. You must let me protect you. It doesn't have to end. I can forget. We can forget. Together.
We can't wait for Rumu, and if you can't either, it'll be available on Steam later this year.
In a shock move, EA has announced that Dead Space developer Visceral Games will be winding down and closing this year. The developer had until now been working on an untitled Star Wars game, which was reportedly a linear, story-heavy title. The world's second biggest game publisher said the game is still in production and has moved to EA Vancouver, which had already been working on the game in conjunction with Visceral. The game will, however, be getting a makeover, with EA stating they are shifting the game to be a broader experience, reimagining central elements of the game to give players a Star Wars adventure of greater depth and breadth to explore. So it sounds like we might be getting a Star Wars MMORPG. This has sparked debate in the gaming community, with some people criticizing publishers for foregoing single-player games for more lucrative online multiplayer games.
Now, in a move that could end the console war once and for all, Sony have announced they'll be making games for the Nintendo Switch. Unties, the new publishing arm from Sony Music Entertainment, will work with indie developers to release games on PS4, Switch and PC. Sony have said that the label was created to unearth high-quality small titles and make free, limitless publishing a reality. Despite only being announced this week, Untied already has a game scheduled for release, with Area 35's title Tiny Metal set to hit the market later this year. The new publisher also revealed 3 more projects, one for PS4 and 2 listed as TBA, suggesting they might just work with other platforms in the future. One of the things that we have really loved here is the huge pinball machine section. They've got everything from Ghostbusters, Star Trek, vintage ones like Twilight Zone, and even not so vintage ones. And I'm talking about you, Avatar pinball machine. So one of the huge hits on the floor is this Addams Family shocking pinball machine, complete with smoke machine. Now, it was actually built in the garage of Jake and Gary, so they're going to tell us a little bit more about how they did that.
I'm one of those guys that likes to look at lots of rubbish on eBay and stuff, usually around arcade machines, pinball machines, things like that. One day about, I don't know, 4 years ago, I came across this chair and I bought it, didn't know what I was going to do with it, and it sat in the garage for about a year. I help out with the Northern Lights Pinball. We were looking at different ideas to raise money for charity, Teenage Cancer Trust. We thought, well, let's do something with the chair. So we thought we'd get together and see what we could come up, what we could produce. And we stripped it all down and tried to work out what we could get working. We've put Raspberry Pis in there, I'm sure people have heard of them, Arduinos, and got it working, and we've raised quite a bit of money for Teenage Cancer Trust with it as well.
So that's just about it for us at PLAYExpo in Manchester. Next week the Friday Fix will be back in the studio, so if you don't want to miss it, make sure you're subscribed.
See you next week.